Melissa B. And next I'm going to be speaking with Xavier. Jet is running a seminar here on the Gold Coast at the end of July. It's called Revive 2018. It's all about health and wellness in real estate. So Jet and I just had a conversation about a lot of things to do with health and wellness in real estate and different tips. So have a listen, and if you're interested, contact Jet and try and make it to the event. It's at the Sheraton Mirage, which is the most beautiful hotel up here. It's worth it just to come up for the hotel. So hope you enjoy it, and yeah, contact Jet. Okay, Jet, thank you so much for joining me today.
Good to be here.
I really appreciate it.
You're only across the road, actually. I can see you from here.
Hello, at the window. I know, sunny Gold Coast. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is Revive. And I just want to give everybody an idea on what it is, because, you know, you're in the real estate groups and we're talking about things like that all the time, like work-life balance and, you know, people's mental health and, you know, how to juggle kids and, you know, all the questions that I get in the groups. And I thought it'd just be good to talk to you with Revive coming up. So can you just explain to everybody what Revive is?
Revive, bring something back to life. Bring the real estate industry back to life. We've got too many people in the industry, Lisa, that are dealing with stress, pressure, overwhelm, trying to juggle family, not having work-life balance, not looking after their health, and then trying to create a sustainable, workable, successful career at the same time. And what Revive about is helping those people to create great careers and achieve what they want to do in their career, but also have a life at the same time, have health, have family time, have things that they want to do as well, and educate them on how to have both. I mean, my belief is you can still achieve greatness with less impact. Why have negative, you know, impact on your life when you're trying to chase something that means a lot to you? It doesn't make sense to me. So Revive is about bringing experts together, bringing people together to educate us all on how to have that work-life integration, and also how to boost our energy levels, how to master the mindset, because that's a big part of it as well. Crucially, how to manage stress and overwhelm and pressure, but mainly to improve wellness and well-being in our lives. I think that's critical in this industry, and we certainly learned that from the surveys that we've been doing and the research and the think tanks and the Revive last year. It basically tells us that, you know, there's a portion of the industry that is, you know, sometimes struggling and needs to find a different way and a different model of working towards success that's going to be beneficial to them. Because, as you know, this should be fun.
Yeah, I know. Some of those statistics that you sent me the other day, actually, I've got it here on my phone. You know, just some of them, 47% felt physical symptoms of anxiety, and 65% of people in the last 12 months have stress, you know, like a lot of stress in their life. You know, like just some of these statistics were like, wow, you know, like. And
it's across the board too. It's not a particular part of the industry. It's PM, BDM, principals, high successful selling sales agents, new sales agents, admin. It's not only one segment or one income bracket either. It's across the board. The industry is dealing with this, and no one in the industry is talking about it. No one has got it on the agenda. No one is really doing anything about it. I mean, there are pockets of people in agencies and offices and leaders that are, but overall, from a national sort of right down to a micro local level, not much is being done about it. So I've seen this need last year, and I thought, okay, it's great being a mindset high performance coach and helping people reach their goals financially, etc. But what about their lives? What's happening at the back end of this? What's happening behind the scenes? What's happening where people don't see? Why is there a high rate of divorce, drug abuse? Why are people, there's some suicides in the industry as well. Why are people leaving the industry so quickly before they even, you know, why is there a big churn rate? Someone's got to answer these questions. You know, if we're going to be, you know, especially coaches, I guess, in the industry, from our point of view, in a sense, it's like, hang on a second, our role is to help equip those in the industry that are playing the game of real estate to make them the best versions that they can be. So, I'm certainly passionate about getting this on the agenda, and sharing this with you today is an awesome opportunity. So thank you for that.
No, that's okay. I mean, it's something I'm very passionate about as well, is, like how to do things easier. Like it's kind of like, being in real estate for so long, 20 something years I've been in it. It was always something that I used to read books on how to get to sleep quicker and, how to get results with less sleep, how to work harder, how to work longer hours. And it's like, that's what we did. It was like, it was crazy. And so now the focus has to be on how we do everything quicker, how we delegate, all of those sorts of things. But how are you going to attract the old dogs that have been in real estate for 20 years, that are used to doing it this way, that are going to say, well, that's the only way there is. You have to be at the office until 11 o'clock at night putting envelopes in. You have to be up at 7 o'clock in the morning doing letterbox drops. Like, how are you going to get people to see that there is another way of doing things?
Yeah, well, it's a good point, but I think the old guard is changing on a number of levels, not only with around work life and balance and flexibility, but around technology, around how we do customer service, around how we sell properties. That's changing, and they've got to change with it. Not only that, we've got a new breed of real estate agent that's coming through. That's going, hang on a second. Yeah, I get it. You've got to work hard. Yeah, I get it. You're going to get tackled sometimes, and it's going to be tough. Yeah, I get it. You're going to get rejected, and it's only cut for a certain type of person that maybe has a thick skin. But how do I do this smarter? How do I avoid that type of stuff, and how do I create a successful business without having all that impact? So you've got a new breed that's coming through that are asking different questions. I mean, you look at the Googles, the Zappos, the Amazons around the world, and the Apples, their workforces are asking different questions. They're looking at the older generation. They're going, you want us to do what? Hang on a second.
Why would I do that? I can do
90 hours. They just look at it and they go, we're not doing that. Why don't we ask different questions? Why don't we look at a different model? Is there another way that we can do it where we can be more efficient and effective and still have our health, still have our family, still have our relationship? So I think whilst the old guard's there, it's always going to be there. The new breed that's coming through at any age are starting to think differently, and they're starting to go, okay, maybe we can do this differently. Maybe we can achieve everything that we want in our business and have less impact. I mean, I've had people come to me that have been hospitalized twice, 15 kilos overweight, basically at the end of their tether, but they've been writing 600,000 GCI. So on the outside, they look like a successful agent, but on the inside and the back end, their world's falling apart. 6 to 7 days a week, 80 hours a week, running that model, only to turn around and change it to 4 to 5 days a week, working on their health and fitness, working on their family, and then they go on to write $1 million plus. They're doing less. They're just working smarter, not harder. They're asking different questions. They're thinking about it a different way. I mean, and if we can get more of that in the industry, and that's what's happening, which is going to change the old type of thinking, it's going to be an even better industry to be in. Because one of the key messages in the industry is harden up, get on with it. Suck it up, princess. And hustle. And whilst I'm a fan of that in some respects, I mean, this industry, you've got to harden up sometimes. You've got to toughen up.
The rejection and all that sort of stuff.
You can't sook in the corner. There is an aspect of that in anything that requires hard work, but it can't be the go-to all the time, because there are people that are overwhelmed. I mean, look at property management, for example. You get some young person who, hasn't got a lot of life experience, hasn't got a lot of business experience, hasn't got a lot of relationship, connection, communication experience, then you drop them in a property management department, and all of a sudden you expect them to perform at a higher level. It just doesn't make sense. There's something broken there that we need to sort of fix. Now, albeit there is an element of the industry where there are people that can run at high levels of intensity for long periods of time. They are very resilient, but that's only a few. That's only a small percentage.
But something breaks eventually, whether it, like you said, whether it's a marriage, a health, or whatever. I remember, probably 15 years ago, I was at a Tony Robbins seminar. Have you ever done Date with Destiny with Tony Robbins?
No, I've done the Unleash the Power Within Your Power, who unleashes the power.
And your fire walk and all that. And I did a Date with Destiny there, and you had to kind of write out all your rules and values around work and life. And mine was actually the most mucked up one there. So he did like an intervention on me, and it was like, it wasn't until I actually saw what my priorities were on paper that I went, oh my God, no wonder, you know, I was going to die of a stress-related disease. There was no doubt in my mind. I left that seminar going, oh my God, this just saved my life, because it was something that I just focused on. I had to get the results. I had to get the numbers. I had to get the commission. I had to get teams doing it. I had to do this. I had to be the best office. I had to get these awards. I had to do all of these things. And there was no time left for anything else. So I kind of really experienced this. And that's why I think it's great that you're doing this and you're making people aware of it and how to actually kind of change your mindset, because it is in your mind.
Well, that's the point. It's a great point you made, because this is the old model. This is the way we think success runs. And what happens is, and we've learned this from sport, and the book called The Powerful Engagement shows this, you know, categorically, that we can take the sporting example and apply it to business, in the sense of sporting people recover, they rest, they train, they get prepared, they play the game, and then the process happens again. Business people put the foot down, go as hard as they can for as long as they can, fall down, then they try and rest and recover and come back up. So the new model is, hang on a second, how can we get more sleep to perform at a higher level? How can we eat better to perform at a higher level? How can we exercise more to perform at a higher level? How can we be more happier to perform at a higher level? How can we manage stress and overwhelm and anxiety to perform at how can we have better relationships? I mean, the jury's out around the research and the studies that's turned performance metrics on its head, especially within business. And all the old things that we thought that we shouldn't focus on are now the things that we should focus on. And, you know, that's exciting, because we have a great industry, Lisa, that has a lot of awesome people in it with good intentions to help other people with the biggest, you know, asset of their life and help them to reach their dreams. But we don't have any foundational platforms to help them thrive and flourish and grow as humans in the industry.
That's right, in a healthy way. So what's been your biggest learnings? And is there, in your report, I read through it last night, but I didn't notice this. Was there anything about the number of divorces in real estate? Like, how many?
We didn't ask that question.
Why? Because I asked that in the group. How many times have you been married? Because it is something that, if you're not careful, your job becomes everything, and you neglect.
Well, I think one of the key statistics was 46% said that work impacted on relationships. Now, I think divorce is a global phenomena across every industry and every part of life. So I don't think it can be tracked to one type of industry. But I think the important statistic that came out of the report was that 46% said work impacted on relationships. Now, that's nearly 50% of the industry saying that their work, which they love to do and are committed to, is actually impacting on what should be the most important aspect of their life. It's where they should draw most of their energy and their motivation and their lifeblood from, and that is the relationships that they, you know, they're connected to. So we've got an industry that's having an impact on that. But let me say that it's not all about the industry. A lot of it's self-inflicted. We allow a lot of it to happen to ourselves. We don't set boundaries. You know, we will let time take over. We'll let ego take over. We'll let things that, you know, we're responsible for to have an impact on our wellness and well-being as well. And I think there's a dual responsibility here. There's a responsibility of those in leadership and stakeholders in the industries to go, hang on, how can we improve the wellness and well-being of the people in the industry? Then there's a responsibility on us as individuals in the industry to go, hang on a second, what am I responsible for my wellness and well-being? If I'm not going to say no or set boundaries, well then, you know, I'm inviting stress, I'm inviting overwhelm, I'm inviting burnout to come in. But the amount of burnout in the industry is phenomenal. It's incredible.
Big time. You see it all the time. So for people that are not used to this kind of seminar, that think it might be some woohoo, you know, whatever, do yoga and whatever, do you have kind of practical things that people can do? Because I remember when I was in sales and I was swapping over to, you know, running my office and having a team, and I found it very hard to let go of selling myself. Like, to, you know, it was like, I'm just not ready to let go. I still want to be selling and listing. And it was something that I had to get to the point where I felt comfortable to be able to get the team to do it and not me, that I could supervise everybody else. And I was happy with that. Like, is that things that you talk about in the seminar as well? Like how to delegate, how to let go, how to see a business model that's just not you. You don't have to be part of it all the time. That's something that you talk about too.
Yeah, the great thing about the seminar is obviously, first of all, it's the first ever of its kind in the real estate space. So that's a bonus for people that are tired of the same old seminars saying the same old things.
Yeah.
This is about the human being and developing the human. The second thing is the seminar over the 2 days is made up of people that have been burnt out, that are in PM, that are running successful businesses, that have been successful selling agencies or still are successful selling agents, but they've been on the road to burnout. They've been down this road where they've potentially nearly been divorced or divorced, where they've been sick, where they've left the industry and come back. So we've got really real hands-on people that have had the experiences and have come back, and they're going to share how they've done that. Then we've got experts from outside of the industry for neuroscience, positive psychology, happiness, stress management, who come in and talked about the practicalities of how the body works, how the mind works, how the brain works, how emotions work, and how we can manage those more effectively to get the outcomes that we want. So it suits anyone that's just new to the industry to be prepared for what's coming. If you're a high performing agent, I mean, we've got Kate Strickland there who's talking, we've got John Cunningham, Nick Pappas, he just was up the top of Century 21, Kate, everyone knows. So these are all people that have had their own experiences, but now are flourishing and thriving in their businesses. And then we've got experts to make sure that we confirm everything that's being said and show pathways to practical application. So people can walk away and go, okay, here's the real story. Here's a real person that I actually is successful in the industry, in PM or running a business or in sales. And here's the expert information that I can take and apply and take away with me. And then we've got practical experiences. You know, we've got meditation and sound healing and yoga and music and the other things that people can involve themselves in so they can disconnect and learn how to just sometimes be still, just sometimes slow down, forget about the world that's outside and just focus on what's important. So it's a very interesting approach that we've taken as far as the process or the journey over the couple of days, so that people just aren't sitting there listening to information. It's very interactive. People are part of the process over the couple of days as well, of going, okay, what can we do to improve wellness and well-being in the industry as well? So they become part of the solution as well. So it's not only for people who are struggling in the industry, it's for everybody in the industry. Because
who wants to grow as well, you know, like and evolve. And
that's a good word, evolution. It's a great word. I think, you know, it helps people evolve. And it starts a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people from Revive last year have turned their model around, and I like to use that term model to, you know, a new model, by merely going to there and just being around people that have had these types of experiences or are experts in the field, because they don't get the information anywhere else. They don't get it from other seminars and conferences, because most of those are skill set, script dialogues, marketing, all that type of stuff, which is important for the industry. But we need both. We need the two.
For sure. I remember like, all my books here, we were talking about the books before, like I remember like I was studying, you know, sales and negotiations and, you know, all that sort of thing. And then it got to the point where I was just techniqued out. Like I don't still want to do self-help stuff, but I've had enough of that kind of stuff. You know, I sort of went to looking for that kind of thing and Deepak Chopra and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So it's great that you're doing this, because you're actually combining people that understand about real estate with that other kind of mindset that you need as well. You can have all the techniques, but if you're feeling worn out, you're feeling stressed, it's not gonna help you, is it?
Yeah. I mean, Wayne Guy talks a lot about, I mean, the movie The Shift, obviously, as you're aware of, the whole ambition to meaning. You know, we've got to move away from striving and never arriving to flourishing and thriving. We've got to use a new metric for success in the real estate industry, and it's really important. We want an industry that thrives and flourishes, not strives and never arrives, and that's really important.
Exactly. And to be happy. And so out of the report that you did, what's the one biggest thing that blew you away? Like, what was the one thing that you were like, oh my God?
Well, I think it just confirmed our sneaking suspicion. So I don't think there was anything that surprised us. I think what stood out was that people said only 25% of people said they used alcohol to cope. I think that's
I saw that. I think think that's not true. That's not true.
It was an anonymous. It was an anonymous survey.
I know. I actually saw that and I went, oh, I thought it would have been a hell of a lot more than that. But anyway.
Yeah. So I mean, that was a bit of a surprise, but we had a sneaking suspicion that was the case. Stress and obviously overwhelm and anxiety and not coping and all that sort of stuff. Here's the thing. There's a stereotype around all this sort of stuff, and that's why it doesn't get talked about, because real estate is that toughen up type of an industry. People are people, whether you're a male or whether you're a female, it doesn't matter. You're still a human with emotions, and you still have various coping mechanisms, and everyone is not the same. Everyone deals with pressure and obstacles and setbacks and challenges differently to the person next to them. And we can't just keep pushing them away and not listening and not talking. It doesn't mean everyone in the industry is suicidal. That's not the case at all. No. But we've got to be an industry that embraces people that are having an off day and maybe not coping. Maybe their head's just not in the game for the day. I mean, I sent a text to a mate the other day. I said, mate, my head's not in the game today. I said, I'm not thinking clearly. I'm actually a bit lost. I mean, I just flicked him a text and he just flicked the text back. I'm feeling you, get to the gym. It was just one of those moments. I'm a very upbeat, positive, get out there and do it type of guy. But I've got a history of depression and I'm aware of that. I'm looked upon as a coach and a thought leader in the industry. Oh, well, he wouldn't get down. He wouldn't, struggle. He would not have a day where he's not coming. Well, I do. But so the deception here, Lisa, I guess what I'm trying to say is just because people look okay and they look successful in the industry doesn't mean they are. It doesn't mean they're suicidal, but it doesn't mean that they're
coping.
They might be just having a flat day. They might be pissed off at something and emotionally it's getting to them. Yeah. And all of this costs energy. Yep. It all takes energy away from us. And real estate's an energy game. And if you can learn to manage that more effectively, and at Revive, we teach you how to boost your energy levels. If you can do that, well, you're going to be far more effective.
Absolutely. Now, what's one tip that you could give, say, a principal of an office to help with staff? Like, have you got any ideas on how to get your staff to be healthy? What do you promote? How can you help your team to develop, to be the high performing salespeople that are not going to burn out, that are happy, that have got happy relationships and everything else? What's the first thing that you
So I guess for this industry, there are small pockets of leaders around Australia that are embracing best practice from outside of the industry. So the Googles, the Zappos, the Amazons, they're taking the best practice of wellness and wellbeing and they're bringing it back to their workplaces, whether that be a fruit bowl, table tennis table, a gym membership. If you go to Toop and Toop in South Australia, they've got a full-time wellness coach, a full-time wellness centre. They've got a full-time creche. So they're at the forefront of what wellness and wellbeing looks like in the industry. So those types of people, they're taking from outside of the industry. The biggest tip I can give principals is they need to just start getting aware of the upside of having wellness and wellbeing practices in your business. That's the first thing. If they can see a financial viability, which there's an ROI of up to $15 every dollar invested in wellness and wellbeing in the industry. So if you can tick that box, then principals are going to go, hang on a second, this makes sense. What do you mean I can actually improve my profitability if I'm going to focus on wellness and wellbeing? So get them educated. I think if you're out there and you're principal watching this, get educated about what's happening with best practice around the world globally with wellness and wellbeing and why it's so important, not only to your bottom line, but to retention. Also, you're going to retain people for longer, so you're not going to waste money on continually trying to bring people in. You're going to have more productive, engaged cultures. I think a Gallup poll said the other day, 85% of people at work are disengaged. I think it was around $7 billion, the cost of absenteeism to the Australian economy, but the cost of presenteeism, which is people going to work and being disengaged, was 5 times as much, around $35 billion. So if principals get educated first of all about what is actually happening in the wellness and wellbeing space and can see it, that it's not a woohoo, soft skill, not important type of thing, I think a lot of principals are going to go, okay, hang on, I want to know more about this. And they're going to start to look outside of their little world and go, hang on, how can I embrace this a lot more? I think that's what I'm trying to do with Revive, educate the industry. And I think, the principals that are looking to improve their business, certainly education is the first port of call. That's where we're at as an industry, particularly as well. The other thing is get behind the Revive movement. We're trying to set up a national non-profit organisation as well, so that people in the industry can turn to it. We're going to set up a phone where you can ring for, like, not counselling, but if you're not coping and struggling, and you can get referred on. We're going to have mentors in there as well. We're going to have online resources, all only about wellness and well-being. So it's going to be an industry-owned body where people can say that, well, that's where I go. That's what I turn to. And that's going to be good for principals as well, because what that's going to do is help them on this road. I could give you 1,000 other things that they can do, but I guarantee they're not ready to do them yet. Because they're not educated about why it should be done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one thing I think that we can try and encourage is days off, that the principals to sit there and go, you've got to be in it, at this time, and you've got to be at work until this time, and you've got to be there 6 days a week and whatever else, or 7 days a week. I think we need to encourage, days off and holidays, planned holidays and things like that. Yeah, the flexibility in the job. And that's what is so great about the job. But I think, like you said, the old principles, look at the ROI and all that sort of thing. And if salespeople are out there and they can prove to their principal that they can get more done in less time, do that too. That's the whole principle of the 4-hour work week. And what he talks about, Tim Harris talks about, is like, that a lot of the stuff he encourages is from home, and then you've got your your appointments you take out and all that sort of thing, like show your boss you can do it in that time. Say, give me a month to prove to you that I can have time off and still get the same
exactly
job,
and also expectation. Principals can talk to the salespeople. What are their expectations? They might want to write 200,000 a year, they might want to write 2 million a year, but what is the expectation that they have as well? Because sometimes there's a conflict around that when it comes to GCI, and the principal's idea of what they want and what the salesperson's idea is sometimes totally different, and they clash. So that's another thing as well. I mean, wellness and well-being is simple as far as an application point of view. Have a healthy workplace. You can have fruit bowls, have some sort of social interaction. Obviously, that's good. Gym memberships, yoga, all that sort of stuff's good. They're easy things to do. But what's happening globally in wellness and well-being is it's shifting into the more mental health side of things. How are people emotionally? How are they coping? Where's their head at? What's their mindset like? How are they managing their emotions? So principals are going to need to get sort of skilled up, not in counselling and psychology, but just in understanding and being aware of those factors as well. If they want to run good teams, or their sales managers, or their team leaders, or their office manager, whoever that is, that's coming as well. Because you can get a mental health first aider certificate now.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rather than just a first aid certificate, you can have someone with a mental health first aid certificate as well. And their role is to, be across the organisation around those types of things. So if you look at a lot of the big companies, and again, we take our lead from that, they are, you go into a direct connect or somewhere like that, and, all over the place, it's, are you okay? Are you okay? Here's the pathway. And so there are signs that help people. There are support networks. It's like onboarding became a big issue in the think tanks that we did last year. People aren't getting onboarded properly. What's happened is, here's your phone, here's your desk, off you go, or trail a lead agent, and over a year you'll be a good agent and all that sort of stuff. What needs to happen is, we need to bring people in the industry. We need to show them how to sell real estate, obviously, but we need to go, this is how you manage emotions. This is what sort of stress you'll be dealing with. This is what expectations are there. This is the type of pressure you'll be under. This is who you call for support. This is what happens if you're not coping. And we onboard them, just like they do in professional sporting organisations. They tell you, this is how you communicate. This is how you act in public. This is what you do with your money. This is how you treat women. This is how you're supposed to be expected to behave. We don't have that in real estate. And so that was a big thing that came out of the think tanks last year with 65 influencers from the industry. They said, if we can onboard people better, then maybe we're going to be able to help them, be more productive and more effective and cope a lot more at a higher level.
Absolutely. And so when is Revive on, and where is it on at?
Sorry if I'm lighting up here. The
I
sun
know.
is beautiful.
I'm feeling like I'm in the dark a bit. Yeah, you've been
So
lit
is
up and
that.
I'm in the dark. The sun's going over your way.
Yes, great. Revive is on the 29th and 30th of July on the Gold Coast at the Sheraton Mirage. I was down there this morning. It is a beautiful venue.
Oh, that's the best hotel. Yeah.
Go to revive2018.com.au and get the information from there.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, and hopefully a lot of people will go and kind of change some habits that we've.
Yes, and if people are interested in more about Revive, go to Real Estate Revive Australia Facebook page and just become a member and keep updated with what we're doing.
Perfect. All right. I'll share this in all the groups, and hopefully you'll get a lot of people there.
You're a legend, Lisa. I love your work.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Jet.